is peak redraft season, and I'm going to run you through my favourite pick in every single round of your redraft league. Up first, we have got Breece Hall in the first round. You're getting him not just in the middle, but maybe even the back end of the first round on some platforms. What is there not to love? After week 5, that is the point at which he was given the all clear on the ACL and it was wheels up for Breece Hall. He finished as the RB2 overall, averaging 20 points per game. We've got a QB upgrade, an offensive line upgrade, and this isn't just a running back. This guy, 24.8% targets per route run. His receiving usage is absolutely wild. Outside of Christian McCaffrey, no back gets a complete workload, quite like Breece Hall does. The Jets offense, okay, it's all hinged on a 40-plus-year-old quarterback, but it could be vastly improved. And I think Breece Hall has got an incredibly high floor, and he has got 101 overall ceiling in terms of his range of outcomes. Breece Hall is an absolute smash for me in the first round. Move into the second round, you might even be able to sneak him in the early third. Cooper Kupp, okay, Puka Nacua came out of nowhere last year and absolutely blew up. But this is still Cooper Kupp's offense. To finish the season, weeks 13 to 17, he ran more routes, saw more targets, more receptions, more touchdowns than Puka Nacua. He's averaging almost 22 points per game in games when he is healthy and Matthew Stafford is healthy. We've heard stories all off season about Cooper Kupp. He's working out to an obscene level. He is in the best shape of his life. He is fully motivated to come back. And the fact that you can get a guy who we're 2 years removed from arguably being the 101 in a lot of drafts in the second round, I love me some Cooper Kupp this year. And sticking with the Rams, Kyren Williams, he's fallen down into the third round of a lot of redraft leagues. Look, this guy was incredible last year when he was on the field, over 21 points per game. The Rams' offensive line upgrades are absolutely wild. They have got almost 1,000 pounds of body weight at the two guard positions and at center. Yes, they've added in Blake Corum, but I don't know why we're getting scared off drafting Kyren Williams because of a third round rookie. If it wasn't for Blake Corum, Kyren Williams would be a top 7-8 pick in redraft. He'd be in that Breece Hall Bijan tier. To me, I'd be more concerned if they'd have added a complement to Kyren Williams. To me, Blake Corum is a carbon copy of Kyren Williams. And I don't necessarily think that's going to be that Kyren Williams is getting taken off the field. I think it's if Kyren Williams gets injured, we've got a carbon copy to step in. If they were adding in a scat back, a satellite back that was going to take the receiving work away, I'd be more concerned. I'm really excited about Kyren Williams, and the fact you can get him in the third round after what he did last year is absolutely phenomenal. If you have found us for the first time, welcome in. Hit the subscribe button. We're in peak redraft season, but just when we get to the in-season mode, we are going to have so much content for you. DFS, Dynasty, of course your redraft, but we'll have some special guests as well along the way. Fourth round, this is my most owned player across all of my best ball drafts, Trey McBride. It is wheels up last year as soon as Zach Ertz got injured and then got released. 25.9% targets per route run rate. But he only scored 3 touchdowns. That is the fewest of any top 12 tight end last year. I think that Trey McBride has got the potential touchdown regression that could see him massively buoy. But also, the addition of Marvin Harrison is going to buoy this offense and potentially increase that scoring opportunity. I don't think it will take away the targets for Trey McBride, but it could potentially give him more advantageous looks when we're going to, safety's going to sit over Marvin Harrison, absolutely. And then you got Kyler Murray, a further year removed from the ACL injury. I think this Cardinals offense, what Drew Penzick is doing is impressive. And I think that Trey McBride, he's a stud. He's a phenomenal route runner. And I think that if you can get him in the fourth round, lock down that stud tight end price without having to pay the elite prices of Sam Laporte or Travis Kelce, but he's easily got that same tight end one ceiling. In the fifth round, Xavier Worthy. This felt a lot more safer when he was going in the sixth, seventh round. But look, I've been a huge Xavier Worthy fan for the last season. In my rookie guide, he was my dynasty wide receiver 3. I had him going ahead of Rome Odunze. I had him going ahead of Brock Bowers. I love the player. He is so much more than just a pure deep threat that some people have tried to paint him as. If you watch his usage in the second preseason game, that to me just shows how the concerns around his body weight and him being manhandled by corners are so overblown, because Andy Reid is going to consistently get him free releases. We're going to see stacks. We're going to see him used in motion. We're going to see him lined up in the slot so he gets that extra yard of space. And then when he's running, look, there is nobody in the league that can keep up with him. Plus, the exciting thing in the preseason, we've seen manufactured touches. You'd think that all the screens in this offense would go through Isaiah Pacheco. Of course, Rashee Rice gets a huge amount of those. Travis Kelce, but no, Xavier Worthy's seen 2 screen routes already in the preseason. That's really exciting for me. You've got a guy with his space, his ability with the ball in his hands, the fact that he is going to get manufactured touches on top of being a fantastic route runner and an electric player. Really excited. And yes, it's a little bit risky, but we know that rookie wide receivers are the cheat code in redraft, and the ceiling is absolutely massive. This offense could easily be the number 1 offense in the league, and Xavier Worthy is a really affordable piece of that. In the 6th round pick, look, let's go back to the well. You know that I'm a big Diontae Johnson fan. He has seen over 8 targets per game every single year since his rookie year. This guy, he may not be the most complete receiver. He may not score a load of touchdowns, but he has got one skill. He is a phenomenal route runner. He gets open for fun. And that is going to work perfectly with Bryce Young. People forget, 3 years ago, he was the wide receiver 8 overall. That was Big Ben's last year. That was the last time he had a competent quarterback. I think, yeah, he's got that exciting potential to finish as an overall wide receiver 1, but the floor is there. If he's going to get 8+ targets a game, he's going to finish as a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 at least. And you'll get him at wide receiver 4 prices right now. So love Diontae Johnson. Of course, you know I do. But I just think that the floor ceiling combination is very enticing. If you haven't yet entered our summer giveaway, all you got to do, subscribe, leave yourself a comment on any of our videos across this platform, and you get yourself entered into our giveaway. We're giving away $100 in cold card cash, 12 months membership to our entire premium content, and of course that $25 voucher to the merch store. Every single time you leave a comment, that's 1 entry. So get commenting away and get yourself as many entries as possible. Moving through into those mid-round picks, this is really where you can start to separate and win your league, rather than just, the straightforward picks that we see through the first 6 rounds. In the 7th round, I'm going James Conner. Look, death, taxes, James Conner finishes in the top 15 back. Top 13 in points per game last 3 years. He's in a contract year. Now, I normally don't potentially like contract years for guys like T. Higgins, but for James Conner, he is playing to get paid next year. If he doesn't produce this year, it's probably his NFL career over. If he has a good season, he could maybe get a 1, 2, maybe even a 3-year contract off the end of it. He was 2nd last year in yards after contact. This is a big bruising back. I think you got Kyler fully healthy. We know that what he can do for the efficiency of the running game. You got Marvin Harrison having to force defenses to keep that second safety out of the box. I think James Conner could be really, really impressive and just be that kind of back-end RB1, and you're having to pay RB3 prices. I think he's a steal at cost at the moment. The next guy, as you can tell, I'm a little bit of a 0 RB build kind of guy. This is where I'm attacking running back. Raheem Mostert. Last year, he outproduced Devon Achane in points per game. And yet we're getting him 6 rounds later. He had 21 touchdowns. Okay, that's probably not going to be the same, but we're not drafting him to be a top 5 back. We're drafting him as, potentially a flex play. I think he's still going to get a lot of work. Okay, yes, he is 32 years old, but he's only had 766 career touches. That's like 2 years for Derrick Henry. I think that Raheem Mostert, he is still rapid. This is still the best run scheme in the league, and we know that he's still going to get work because they're not going to give Devon Achane 20+ touches a game. So I really like the value you can get on Mostert, and I think that if you're looking at him as your 0 RB running back 2 or maybe a 3rd running back, you can go an awful lot worse than a guy that's going to have the potential that he does and going to be part of this Miami offense that we know is going to put up points. The 9th round pick, one of my favorite running back picks. You've heard Tom wax lyrical about him. I've tried to do it as much as possible. Brian Robinson, he's not just a pure 2-down back. As you can see, over 20% targets per route run, almost 2 yards per route run out of the backfield. That's pretty rare to see. But he is super efficient with the ball in his hands. 10th in first downs per rush attempt last year. And we know what Cliff can do for this offense. You add in the fact that you've got Jane Daniels, who rushing quarterbacks, increase the efficiency of running backs in those sort of schemes. This could be a sneaky rushing attack. And I'm not concerned about Austin Eckler. You know my takes on him last year. I think he's washed. I thought he was poor last year. And I think that Brian Robinson could be a 60+% opportunity share guy. And in the 9th round, I love that value. Moving into the double-digit rounds, got to go and get myself a quarterback. Trevor Lawrence. I don't get the hate on Trevor Lawrence. Maybe it's that he was just too overhyped as a rookie coming in. But this is a guy that's not had good situations, not been helped out by the play calling, but has been impressive. No quarterback last year lost more EPA in terms of screen game, running game, drop passes. I think that he is a elite quarterback that just hasn't got the hype and hasn't had the opportunity to do it. He finished as the QB7 in 2022, and yet we can get him outside the top 12 quarterbacks. I think the Mitch Morse edition, okay, he's aging, but just for his brain, ability to handle the checks, handle the pass pro for Trevor Lawrence will help him massively. And then you've got those two speed demon deep ball receivers. We know what Gabe Davis is. He's made a career out of it in Buffalo. And then Brian Thomas, the ceiling is massive. But we know that he's going to have to force defenses to keep those two safeties high as well. And that's going to open up space for Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram underneath. I think this could be a really efficient offense. And I think that Trevor Lawrence in the 10th round, with a little bit of rushing upside that he does bring, is really good value. And if you're waiting on quarterback, definitely one of the guys that I'm trying to target. Before we dive into the 11th round, if you've made it this far, we're 12 minutes in, hit that subscribe button. And I promise you, we will help you win your leagues as we get towards the end of the season. 11th round pick, I'm going to go back to that rookie world. Jalen Polk, really liked him as a prospect, a true 3-level route runner, can line up inside, outside. He is running with the first team now. I know that the first 2 preseason games, his usage was disappointing, but this last week, we've started to see him running with the first team in practice. He's got the potential to lead the Patriots in targets. And yeah, it's not going to be a top 5, top 10 offense, but I think the hate on the Patriots offense has gone too far. This could be a competent NFL offense. And give me a guy that could see 100+ targets in the 11th round every day of the week. Jalen Polk has got some spike ability. He's probably going to be a little bit boom bust, but what do you expect in the 11th round? You're not going to get a plug and play reliable option at this point in the draft. In the 12th round, the last guy I'm going to talk about, Zach Charbonnet. Look, he is a Kenneth Walker injury away from being an absolute league winner. He saw 14.8% of his runs go for 10+ more. That is more than Kenneth Walker. He had a higher success rate than Kenneth Walker. Okay, we know what Kenneth Walker is. He is a little bit boom bust. He has got the potential to score from anywhere on the field. But coaches don't necessarily love that when that comes with that bust potential. Zach Charbonnet is a true kind of ham and egger. He is a solid, get what is blocked for you kind of guy. And for a defensive coach, that could be enough to get him on the field. So I think Zach Charbonnet is being drafted at his floor. He's being drafted as if he was a backup running back, a 30 to 40% opportunity share guy. If he sees a larger workload or if Kenneth Walker gets injured, he's easily outpaying this price. So I love it. Late rounds, let's take some dart throws on some potentially competent running backs, backup running backs in good offenses, and Zach Charbonnet absolutely ticks those boxes for me. Do you agree with these picks? Is there anyone that you disagree with or hate? Let me know in the comments below, and of course, get yourself an entry into our giveaway before it's too late.